Hello and welcome back to the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. We love a Sunday special, don't we?
Love it. Love it. Great, shareable,
bite-sized
situation.
episode. You know, it's funny because like I'll be on the road on the weekends or, you know, and Saturday I start to get the, you know, people messaging me about these Sunday specials and how much they enjoy them. It's like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like I forget that they're there.
I forget how amazing they are. And then I remember.
We put out a great product here. And even better than what we put out as a podcast, if you're into YouTube, go watch the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
They're great. We're making tons of facial expressions. I'm always
Sounds,
doing hand
noise,
shit.
I guess they can hear the sounds on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Put a face to the voice.
Motions, all the crazy things that you just can't get in your ears.
And
but if you're listening, that's
Right.
also okay too.
Yeah, we'll take you how we take you. You know, but if you do watch on YouTube, hello YouTube land, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like, comment. Jordana reads all the comments. We love that.
I do. So this is coming out December 11th, holiday season.
Right.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. Yeah, this is like, I'm going to be off for a minute.
Ooh,
which is nice.
You going back to France?
Back to France. Go have some radishes. I'm going to go, I think I'll go to Boca for a little bit.
Okay.
Chill.
It's where you wanted to go last time.
It's really where I should have been. I'm a Boca bitch.
How long are you going for?
I don't know. I was about to ask you guys, depending on our taping schedule.
Well, we have the week of the 11th. No
Nothing
recording.
that week.
Yeah,
So I'll probably go that week.
You should go.
Be down in Delray.
Make like TJ Maxx. You should go.
Right.
That's their slogan.
Is that their slogan?
Their slogan is "You should go."
You should go?
You should go.
That is a bizarre slogan.
It's very weird. I always remember it because I'm kind of like, I like slogans that don't overhype the thing.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of one of them. They're like, TJ Maxx, you should go.
That's the song?
Yeah.
When was this? I have no memory. Now?
Last time I saw a commercial, that was the slogan.
You should go sounds like what someone says to you at a party when you've made a scene.
You should go.
You should go.
You should go. Yeah, I like that slogan. I like the lottery slogan. Big one for me.
What's the lottery slogan?
The lottery slogan is, "Hey, you never know."
You never know. You got to play to win.
That's another one.
That's another one.
Play to win I don't like. I think that's a little overhyping it.
Really?
You never know, to me, is the perfect slogan. Because
Good
it's
point.
kind of like, you're probably not going to win.
Right, but
hey,
you don't know.
You never know.
You never know.
That's how you should do the lottery.
Here's another slogan. Used car sale, used car places. It's new to you.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah,
It's new to you.
that's true.
I like that one. It is true, not overhyped.
Yes.
It's admitting it's not new.
Right. Undersell, over deliver. That's what these slogans do.
Right.
You should go. Anyway.
You should go is a little judgy. Like
You should go.
You should go.
TJ Maxx, you should
Yeah,
go.
you're in need of a little TJ Maxx. You should go.
I mean, that's not the inclination they use in the commercial, but you know.
When I went home for the holidays, I mean, my dad does a version of that. Is like I think he said to me, he's trying to fix me up with someone. He's like, you should just go. Like I was like, what does she look like?
Take my
just
word
go.
for it.
You
You
should-
should just go.
Chill out.
She's a woman. You should
It's a woman.
you should go.
You like those still, right? It's a very judgy. Yeah, I'm gonna go home for a week.
Okay. I think that's good.
Sit in the sun.
That'll bring out the best version of you.
Right. Put me in the judgiest place possible to get more judgy.
No, I mean it's a great place to be in the winter.
Absolutely. I'm excited. But I'm excited for this episode. Great email.
Yeah.
Thorough.
Let's get right into it.
Let's get into it. And if you're in San Diego,
What's
Houston, Dallas.
There was a great go to jaredfree.com and check out the shows. There was a great meme someone tagged me in that was so related to it. Was like, okay, podcasters 40 minutes into the episode. Let's just jump right in. I shared it. It was so funny. It was very spot on.
It's very funny. It's very spot on. I mean, we're jumping right in. It's 5 minutes in.
For us, this is jumping right in.
This is a jump. Listen, I'm willing to hear from. I'm yet to hear from anyone except our producer Jorge. that they don't like the long opens.
I don't think he said he didn't like the. Oh no, he did say the episode was like
We're
an
running a
hour
little
and
long.
45 minutes long, and we need to watch it. But he also the ads was also the other issue.
Oh yeah. Now listen, sometimes we get here and I'm like, I gotta open up about this thing, and we go, let's just.
Some people, people who DM me, they love it.
This is jazz.
Yeah. Anyway,
Come here with a plan.
let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to read it?
Yeah, you could read it.
Jared and Jordana, love the pod. I'm very interested to get your take on this. About 5 years ago.
Four score. 7 years ago.
4-7 situationships ago. I, 28 female, went on a date with a guy from Hinge. Let's call him Graham. What a weird random name to choose.
Almost like Maria.
Maria, I just met a girl named Maria. Her Tinder profile hot.
If you haven't listened to our Wednesday episode, it will make a lot more sense after you do.
My penis soft is not for her. I'm glad that entertained you. Lost the production
You're
team
losing them.
on that one.
It's been a long day for them.
I know. It's been a long day. It is rainy and gross out. I think it's affecting my mentality.
Do you have seasonal depression?
Absolutely. I'm feeling it more than ever now. I think it's single.
We got to get you to
Dark.
Boca.
Get me to Boca.
Ship him off to Boca.
Ship him off to Boca.
It's another remake we need.
We need that remake. And instead of like,
It's like a more
it's-
Jewish
yeah,
whiny.
it's whiny women. Ship him off to Boca. Ay, they.
You Up Pod, the musical, coming
Right,
soon.
it's coming.
Yes.
Ship
We've
him
got-
off to Boca.
Ship 'em to Boca.
Maria.
Matchmaker.
Okay. We'll stop being silly. If you're watching on YouTube, you're getting a lot of juice
You're
today.
getting it all.
So Graham, 27 male. The date was fun, but for reasons I still can't really pinpoint, we mutually friend-zoned each other. Nevertheless, I've always found him incredibly attractive, and we have a great time whenever we are together, so began a years-long friendship. We both lived in small towns about an hour from each other and would communicate semi-regularly through text, Snapchat, and Instagram memes, meeting up for hangouts when we could. These hangouts were always completely platonic, no kissing, flirting, etc. About a year ago, I decided to relocate to a city about 4 hours away where he still lives during his off season. I should also mention that Graham is a wildland firefighter.
Ooh.
Now Graham makes more sense.
Yeah. That's a
There's no
firefighter.
Josh, the wildland firefighter.
Probably not.
No.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Andrew, the wildland firefighter. No, it's Graham
Graham makes sense.
McNally.
Not to generalize.
Rustlin. These are names of wildland.
Rustland.
I don't know. Is that a name? Rustlin? Rusty.
Russ?
Rustland? Isn't Rustlin a name?
Russell. Russell.
Russell's not a wildland firefighter. Russell's an accountant.
Yeah.
It
was very quiet.
Broderick.
Broderick. Okay.
Okay. Graham is a wildland firefighter, meaning he is off the grid fighting fires for about 5 to 6 months of the year, and then spends the rest of the year fun-employed, traveling all around the country in his van with his dog. Okay, she has painted a picture.
Yeah. That's a lot of free time.
5 to 6 months of the year. At what age is that unattractive to you?
Now.
Now. I'm 35, 5 to 6 months. Like, this is a lifestyle.
There's too many months of the year.
Well, it's a life.
Although you've got to have a plan for the other 5 or 6 months of the year that's not just fun. There's got to be something else.
At what age do we run out of being able to use the word fun employed? Yeah.
Fun employed runs out at 30 days to me.
30 days.
You got 30 days of fun employed and then get a job.
Right. or that's who you are.
Yes.
I think that's something people
5
have to...
to 6 months, that's who you are.
Like, I was watching the U.S. soccer team the other day, and the coach has a look. The coach of the U.S. soccer team looks like he lives in Southern California, and he retired from tech early, and he hangs out at coffee shops in his cycling uniform.
Like long blonde hair?
No, he was bald.
Oh, okay.
No,
Jeff
the exact
Bezos?
opposite. Just had a Bezos-y SoCal coffee shop old man look.
Okay.
And that's a lifestyle. That is like...
I mean, he's the coach of the
well, I'm saying
World Cup soccer team.
Right. But I'm saying his look is like, sometimes like that's what you are. Like this guy, Graham, the wildland firefighter, 5 to 6 months, fun employed. Like that's a person more than a decision. Does that make sense?
I mean, good for him, not for me. But
maybe I need that. That's going to be me.
You
when I'm in
wanna
Boca this week, people ask me what I do. Fun employed.
Would you be into that woman who fights fires 5 to 6 months of the year, and then the rest of the time she's in her van with her dog, fun employed?
No. Not
might as well
for me.
Teach her.
I mean, might as I would just assume we're two different people.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think we...
Probably not a match.
No. Like, when I see certain profiles, I mean, when you get to, like, look at someone's profile instead of, like, meeting them and then becoming accustomed to them, like... You know, if their profile says something like, I don't know, like, I just like to adventure and hike. I'm like, well, we're not,
right.
We're not alike.
I don't see you in the hiking
yeah,
game.
You're a nice person, but not nice for me.
Not for me, yeah.
Right. This summer, our platonic texting / DMing turned flirtatious. Graham began to shoot his shot, expressing his romantic interest in me, saying that he planned on spending a significant amount of time with me during his months off, even planning a couple of trips for the two of us to take together in months in advance. My feelings definitely turned romantic as well, and I was not deterred by the 4 hours of distance between us. I am naturally very independent, so the thought of not having the pressure to spend every night with someone who lives down the block really appealed to me. Of course, as soon as I got really excited at the idea of us trying to move out of the friend zone when he suddenly stopped responding to texts, not liking my posts on social media, etc., even blowing off a plan to come to my city to visit the morning of the planned date. After a few weeks of not talking, I finally addressed the elephant in the room and asked him why he was ghosting me. His response was essentially that he did still want to date me and that he has strong romantic feelings and wants there to be something between us someday, but that the distance currently between us seemed too much of a roadblock. He said that the timing was off due to me having to move to the city and that if I were to move back to my previous town, to which I had previously said could be a strong possibility in the next few years, to let him know so that he can give 100% of my effort. This is his words. Give 100% of my effort to having an awesome relationship.
It's going to be so awesome.
Dude, when you move back down these ways,
fucking awesome.
We're going to have the fucking most chillest, awesomest relationship anyone's ever had, dude.
Until I have to leave for 5 to 6 months.
Hopefully nobody has a gender reveal party and fucks this up. This really rubbed me the wrong way. What makes Graham think that I'll even be single? Well, sorry, lady, it's been 5 years. Okay? Let's not get high and mighty now.
Fair.
And or interested by 5 years again, by the time I'm more convenient. He didn't, okay, I'll read this even though that sentence drove me crazy. What makes Graham think that I'll even be single and or interested in him by the time I'm more conveniently located to him? And why wouldn't it even be worth exploring the possibility of long distance if in fact he wants to be in a relationship with me now and or in the future? My question is this, in y'all's opinion, is 4 hours of distance really a valid reason for someone not to at least try to make it work when they really like someone? Or is he not being honest about why he ghosted? Are we truly that spoiled living in the time of such convenience that we're willing to give up something potentially real because it requires some extra planning and driving? Or is this just an excuse? Sincerely, long distance put out the fire. What do you think?
I think the 4 hours of distance is an excuse.
Okay.
I think Graham, the way that she describes him, is not a guy who's thinking about anyone but himself.
Fair.
I think for a couple weeks or a moment, he had a little dry spell. And so he was like, let me try to make this thing happen and talk about doing this thing. And then he got distracted by something else. And now he's no longer interested in making this potential relationship happen.
Right.
And the excuse is a very easy one.
Yeah, it's built in.
If you were closer, like all that shit is just very easy. To me, it's like he got into it when he was like had a little less going on. Now he's got a little more going on. He's not particularly as interested in
Let me empathize with him.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not saying that makes him a monster. I'm just saying to me that's what's happening.
Right. I agree with you. Let me give there's a version of Graham in a lot of guys.
Okay.
This has happened. This is a very extreme situation that actually is a very relatable one.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of saying who you would like to be versus who you actually are.
Okay.
Because I do understand that he's like, I got this great girl that's been around. She's always in my DMs and we text and we
nice
Snapchat.
banter.
We have good banter. Nothing's wrong here. She's beautiful, fun. We get along. We have great times together. And that's all like easy when it's not planned. Like when it's like, oh, you're nearby, come, let's spend the day together. Or oh, when it's convenient. When it's not, and then maybe it's planned a week in advance, but no one's offended. No one asks for more.
Right.
Right. And in the scenario, and what he did was he got carried away. He's like, we're going to go on trips. This is all when he didn't have to do it. Right.
He didn't have to say any of that shit.
Well, he's lonely too. You know, and I think, well, this is one of those scenarios. And go back to Wednesday's episode.
That's what makes 1A, as we haven't done this in a bit, but we're going by our fuckboy definition. That's what turns someone into normal dater to this fuckboy thing, because then it's like, I'm now leading you to believe that I'm more invested in this than I am.
Right.
Although they haven't hooked up.
They haven't hooked up. So I guess that's probably part of the reason that he feels that he gets ahead of himself and he doesn't feel it's as destructive as maybe she's presenting it here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do understand his position a little bit.
Which is?
5 to 6 months unemployed, and you go into work, and then while you're at work, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm getting older. I don't need this anymore. I should have somebody. And then he's like, I got this woman that's great, and I message with her. Let's give it a shot. And then he gets to unemployed land, and he's like, oh, I don't want to drive 4 hours. Right, that's what he's doing.
Circumstances change.
Right,
yeah.
he goes, I got to drive 4 hours. Do I really want this? Me driving 4 hours makes this more serious, puts a lot of pressure on this in the way that there was no pressure before. When she writes... in the sentence I got tricked up on, why would it even be worth exploring what makes Graham think that I'll even be single and or interested by the time I'm more conveniently located to him? He's never thought that you weren't interested.
Right.
The idea that she's like, now that he's gotten romantic, a guy will always believe that would be with him sexually, even when you're not.
Here's also the other part of it is he's not thinking about you at all.
Right.
He's like, why would he think that I would be interested? He's not putting himself in your shoes, because if he was, he wouldn't be saying all that shit to you.
Right.
He's just thinking about how he feels. And that's like the annoying thing about the guys who do this, is they're just thinking about themselves and what they want. So he's like, and then I think that's the difference in dating at a certain maturity and dating at a, as you get older and think more about others. Right. Is like when you start off dating, you're like, this sounds good to me at the time, so I'll just, and that's why I say like a lot of guys just say shit, so don't believe anything anyone says.
This happens with anyone that's insecure. I've been on the other side of this in a different way.
Okay.
Where someone's insecure and they got to get the win, and they don't think of your feelings.
They're just thinking about themselves.
About themselves. I've had this happen where it's like, if you're nice to someone, then you have a couple drinks, then you go, I'm going to go home. And they go, you're going home? And you go, yeah, we probably shouldn't. And they go, why would you spend all night with me if you're just going to go home? And you go, well, this isn't about me anymore.
What do you mean?
Like,
it's not about me?
It's like me going home with them isn't because they like me. It's because I wasn't turned down.
Okay.
And I need to get fulfillment from this. I'm not thinking of from their shoes why they would feel upset to, why they were going home with me would make them feel uncomfortable or upset.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the guy scenario, this happens, like where you're like, well, guys want sex. Guys want to be, go home with women.
But that's different in the fact that you wouldn't be saying like, you're not saying things to lead someone to believe that you're doing something else, right?
Right. Well, maybe you're saying, oh, I just want to hang out and say what's up. Like, I just want to hang out and, wanted to say hi and catch up over drinks instead of like, I'm here to like date, which is not something you would say.
Right. I'm just saying in that scenario, you're not saying anything that is like in opposition to what your actual plans are to do. Or you're not like flaking out on something that you said you would do.
Right.
So that I think is more like, okay, the expectations are not aligned, but that's sort of, to me, a little bit more harmless, or it's not like intentional. I'm saying and I think, I don't want to generalize, but I do think guys do this a lot more, is they'll just kind of like, this feels good to me now. I'm just going to say it because like I know this person's going to like that I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's not true forever, like they'll deal because it's about me.
I'll say guys get put in a different position. Oh, I'm looking to be casual and I don't care. I just want to hook up. I don't want more than anything. I'm just looking for casual.
You're saying if a woman said that?
And then you go, oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
And then a week later, what are we going to do here?
Yeah, that's her. That would be her fault
right.
in that scenario too.
That's the other side of the coin.
Sure.
On that. I guess what I'm relating is like the idea that like people think of their own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They're not thinking of you all the time, especially when they're insecure. And it sounds like this guy had an insecure moment that he was lonely.
Yeah.
And he was like, I got to feel that loneliness. I got to feel good. And it does feel good for him to tell a woman and have her say yes to it. Let's do a trip.
Yeah.
You're 4 hours away, but we can make a plan. And then the day comes and he goes, again, 4 hours. And I do think he doesn't see it as an excuse. When you're like, it's an excuse, it is an excuse. But in his mind, he's going, oh, how, the 4 hours is too much for me. Like he's using that, but he doesn't.
Fine. But I still think he's in the wrong for saying any of that shit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just saying why he's saying that shit.
Right. Like, because he's using her.
Yes. To get fulfillment, to feel good, to go back to Wednesday's episode.
Yeah. This is the more classic version, I think, of men.
But, they haven't been physical.
Okay.
So
But they're clearly like doing like a flirty, like there's clearly like an unspoken thing.
Right. And more plans have been made other than responding to an Instagram story, which is way less than this.
Yeah. And the correct thing for him to do, I think that's fair. I think we're allowed to change our minds. Maybe he did really think.
Right. At the time.
Yeah. How about, hey, instead of just ghosting her or not flaking out on the city plans, how about, hey, I know my actions before this may have probably led you to believe that I was like that things were gonna be a certain way. I'm kind of all over the place in my head. I'm sorry for leading you on in that way. The more I've thought about it, the more I'm kind of like the distance doesn't really seem to be working. And I thought, in a different place, I thought I could, and I guess it's a little bit of what he said. Although he's blaming it entirely on the distance, and I just don't know if that's the case.
Well, he has to. The most appropriate thing for him, and you said the beginning of it. The beginning is, I'm sorry. Right. I thought I could do this. This isn't the situation for me. Then the second part that he would have to do to be a fully formed adult and mature is say, I'm going to step away from what we're doing here. Yeah. Because us messaging isn't really helping me, because I'm putting you in situations where I'm hurting you.
Right.
And for that reason, I think we should stop texting. That would be the
ideal thing that he could have done here.
And he didn't do that. Instead, he goes, well, maybe, and what he's doing, he's trying to soften the blow. He's being so nice, it's mean.
Right. By making it about
5 years from now, when you move back. And that's why she goes, what do you think? I'm going to be an option then? It's like,
he doesn't
just
care.
Like you said, he doesn't care. He's not thinking of you. He's thinking of himself looking like less of an asshole for what he just did.
Right. In her mind, she's like, well, how does he know I'm even going to be single? Why would he risk that? And he's kind of like, well, I don't care that much. So if it happened to work out, then like cool. And if not, I don't care that much.
Right. I will find someone as good as if not better than you.
Right.
And that's hard to say in here. And honestly, this is why you invest in stocks. Past performance does not indicate future results. Yeah, if you listen to Wednesday's episode, the toys discussion.
Stocks not toys.
Stocks not toys. Can you imagine if a guy's full of his toys? No, but if this guy, he's going, well, you were here 5 years from when we met. Why? And again, this is the connection to time that guys don't have.
Right.
Yeah. He probably doesn't even think that they've been doing this for 5 years. Oh, it's been 5 years.
Right. And she says, are we truly that spoiled living in a time of such convenience that we're willing to give up something potentially really great because it requires some extra planning and driving?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Also, she's potentially really great.
Hey, can we just do this meeting on the phone? That's the equivalent.
Right. Yeah. Thoughts change. People change.
Listen, good luck. You're going to find... this 4 hours...
Plus, they went on a date. The other thing to remind yourself, to the woman writing in, you went on a date 4 years ago and you weren't that into him.
Right.
Even though you said he's attractive.
Well, that's the thing. For some reason, it fizzled out. Not for some reason.
Right. You never hooked up.
We're just like, whatever.
Right.
Both of you.
And I think she's now, especially because of the rejection in this, she's now putting it on. It's this ideal thing, this potentially be amazing. It's like you went out and you didn't really like someone.
Right.
Mutually.
Yeah.
So don't turn it into this love story, pedestaled thing that's amazing when it's not. We
go back to the fizzle because there was no ending, but we forget that the fizzle happened because no one cared enough to make there be closure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you fizzle with someone, it's two people that are like, we never texted. We never got back together. And then you go, why is that? Why didn't that end? Why? Well, it wasn't. Because when you like someone, you go, hey, are we going to go out again? And you force them to go, no, we're done. It's over.
Yeah. And that's better for you. And again, to the writer, I don't know if you really want to be dating someone who's gone 5 to 6 months of the year.
Well, that's a different.
That's me inserting my own personal opinion.
Listen, we can go on the road with the van and the dog.
That's gonna get old so fast. You don't even know how fast it's gonna get old.
It's funny. I've been doing shows with the guy who opened for me a few times. This guy, Van guy, yes. Alec Parent. He's hilarious. Great guy. Big fan of the show. No, that's a different Van guy.
How many Van guys do you know?
That's Vancast. Nick Van. That's the podcast.
Okay.
There's a stand-up Alec Parent, who's opened for me in Miami. He's very funny. Everyone should go follow Alec Parent. And, he does a real van life. He lives in his van.
Yes, as you do.
And he was saying, there's all these TikToks about, glorifying van life. And now he said it's kind of coming back around. All these people that were, van life during the pandemic are now going to be it's been 3 years in the van, and
get small
things
in
have
there.
changed, Yeah. And now it's funny because I went on TikTok. When he said that, I was like, oh, let me go look up van life on TikTok. All the top videos now are the real van life, it's so glamorous. Yeah. It's not all cliffside coffee.
Yeah. No van life. I'm telling you.
So.
Not fun.
We solved dating again, Jordana.
We did it. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Boom.
The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.